presidents, you know. You made it a hotline. I made it a hot
podcast.
Didn't he meet...
Hi, and welcome back to the Dead Presidential Society, where every day is President's Day, the only podcast by presidents, for presidents, about presidents. We set the precedent in the present. This is episode number. Which number is it, Doug?
Monday, We're still on Lincoln.
Wednesday, Thursday, Fridays. 7!
Number 7, Andrew Johnson. Andrew Jackson. I'm James Fitz, president of the Hair Club for Men. My co-host is Doug Holmeyer, president of Apples. Our guest today is Stefan Matusak, president of Oranges.
You can compare them.
No, you can't.
You know, I like them both.
They're both fruits.
Yeah.
One's a citrus and one's not a citrus, but you can still compare them as fruits.
I like them both.
One of my favorite jokes is I sprayed bathroom spray in my, after I took a dump, and now my bathroom smells like citrus.
That's like comparing Andrew Johnson to Andrew Jackson.
You like them both?
Not really, no. I don't like either of them.
Oh.
That's fair. What comes first, though?
What's our first section?
What's our first
You're an
section?
avid listener.
Let's talk about some first ladies.
First Wives Club.
Ooh,
Sorry.
It's actually presidential first.
Presidential firsts.
So we're talking about the first presidential firsts. What was Andrew Jackson one of the first presidents to do? He was the first president to...
Didn't he hate Native Americans? He like genocide them or something, like push them out.
He did.
He was the
Yeah.
Was born in a log cabin.
He was the first president born in a log cabin.
Oh my god.
Obviously a segue back to that.
He was also the first president born in the Carolinas.
Which brings us neatly to my favorite section.
Presidential birthplace.
Presidential birthplace.
Oh, I was going to say, does Carolina care?
Oh,
Does Carolina care?
that's one of our weaker segments.
Yes.
We can go into both sections. Should
Yes.
we do double section?
Does Carolina presidential birthday?
Presidential birthplace.
Is this my daily double?
Answer.
I would like to vote. I'm putting down $500 for this.
All right, let's hear it. Does Carolina care about Jackson? Which one?
The answer.
Does North Carolina care? Does South Carolina care?
I'm going to say that North Carolina is ambivalent and South Carolina cares.
Wow.
Exact opposite, unfortunately.
That's so close.
So, Andrew Jackson, I don't know why I'm doing an announcer voice, but I'm going to continue doing. Andrew Jackson was actually born in between North and South Carolina.
He was born like right on the border.
Right on the border. There's an edge, actually. There's
And
a seam.
he claimed that he was born on a cabin on the south side of the border. But there's a strong local tradition that says he was born on the north side of the border. So it's my position that the people in the south wanted him to be born in the north because they don't like him. And the people in the north were like,
We'll take him.
we'll take him.
Yeah.
See, I think the cabin was on the border.
Ooh.
And he was born in both at the same time because his mom, like, kind of just laid there.
One leg on either side.
Yeah. There's no...
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, what?
First president born in 2 states at once.
I'm sure there's got to be someone who, like, crossed.
Unfortunately, that would be also incorrect because he was born before they were states.
Oh. Yeah, I guess that's true.
President born in 2 colonies at once?
Well, they were all. Yeah,
Yes.
I suppose.
I like it.
That's a first for him.
He was born in the Wahawks. He was not the only president born in that district. James K. Polk. We cover that episode.
11.
11.
We covered that 4 episodes from now.
Yes.
Much like how George Washington travels through time, this podcast also travels through time.
Andrew Jackson was the first president born to immigrant parents.
Where did they immigrate from?
Ireland. They were Irish.
Just like my grandma.
I mean, no, but every president pre this country they're all immigrants.
We're a nation of immigrants. Is that what you're trying to say, Doug?
No, I'm saying like any president born overseas, and they're all immigrants. Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Just very.
We might have to double check that source.
Yeah, Wikipedia.
He was the first president born after the death of his father. He was also the first president who was an orphan.
Yeah.
Which should we go into
I think we should go into presidential parents.
presidential parents? Everybody's got them. What are they up to?
Presidential parrots. Parents.
He actually didn't have president
No,
parents. He was an orphan.
Was his dad named Jack? So he was Jackson.
Ooh.
Oh, Jack Jackson.
Yeah.
What was it? No, he didn't have any parents. He was an orphan.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
No parents. What an immaculate
The
conception.
first president to have been an orphan.
Oh, he was just born out of like a puddle of slime. Just kind of like spat him out.
molded from the earth
Just spat him out in North Carolina.
His father died 3 weeks after he was born.
before.
Before he was born. Sorry.
Well then.
Boy, he killed his father.
He was the first president elected as a Democrat.
No. Well, there's actually some controversy surrounding his father's death because some people say it was an accident. He died from a tree falling on him. Some people say it's an accident. Others say that the tree was planted.
Some say it was a chainsaw dent.
I can't believe George Washington cut down that tree,
Yeah.
too.
He was the first president to have been a major general. Oh.
My chair just broke, but I'm gonna do this one standing up for our President Andrew Jackson.
We got another 25 minutes. You might want to rethink that.
No, we're here. We're here for Andrew. Andy, you hear me?
We're waiting so long. We waited an hour and a half for that to happen.
It's a prank chair.
Woo! Is that why it's covered in this weird Hugh Hefner-esque silk?
It's a prank chair.
This is the worst prank.
It's a great prank.
You can swap it with this other chair over here.
You want me to take WGH's chair? Really?
Oh my goodness, that fake chair. It works so
Oh,
good.
finally. 2/3 of the time it worked every time.
There's also a whoopee cushion hanging out the bottom of it.
Oh, yeah, we forgot
it
about
didn't
that.
quite work,
It
the
was
whoopee
supposed to be
cushion.
a double prank.
It's a double chair prank. The whoopee cushion throws you off guard, then you're never going to expect the chair is broken. The back legs of the chair, they're not really connected that well, so then if you lean too far back, it'll collapse.
Funny prank.
It's April 2nd.
Thank you for your service. Thank you for your service.
Oh, yes, this is the part of this section.
Where if our president served in the military, we thank him for his service. Was our president serve in the military?
Yes, Major General.
He was a major general.
Which we follow up with my favorite category, thank you for your cervix,
Thank you for your service.
where we
you.
thank presidential moms.
Yeah, thank you, presidential mom. She died in childbirth.
Yep. No, she didn't. She died when he was 14.
No. Yes.
She was going to be the first presidential mom to die in 2 colonies at once.
Wow.
But she
could have
made
been.
it.
Could have been.
Could have been. Should have. Well,
He was the first president to marry a divorced woman.
Oh, WGH came later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Beat him to the punch, marrying a divorced woman. Which means it's time for
my favorite section.
one of my favorite sections. I won't say it's my number one
No,
favorite.
you won't say zero.
It's a pretty good one. First Wives Club.
First Wives Club.
Yes.
We got First Wives Club.
She died. Who was it? Who was his first wife?
His
Florence Harding.
Florence Harding.
No, that's not who it was. Emily Donaldson.
Emily. No.
Sarah
Well, that
York
would-
Jackson.
What are you?
Just keep guessing.
Rachel Jackson
Rachel Jackson.
was his wife. She died just after his election, before his inauguration, so therefore she never served as the first lady.
So she should be stricken from the record and is not included in the First Wives Club. I'm sorry.
You know, I think that's a good point. She's not really a first. No, she's the first wife. She's not the first lady. We have Second Ladies Club coming up.
Yep. Right now, Second Ladies Club.
Second Ladies Club, Emily Donaldson.
Emily Donaldson.
Our second lady.
Moving back to Rachel.
No, she was 17 years old when she married Andrew Jackson Donaldson, who was Emily's first. It was her first cousin, also a first cousin of Andrew Jackson.
So wait, there's Andrew Jackson Donaldson, and then Emily Donaldson?
And Emily Donaldson.
So she just trimmed the excess fat by marrying Andrew Jackson.
Yeah, Andrew Jackson Donaldson was ward of their mutual uncle and aunt, Andrew and Rachel Donaldson Jackson.
It wasn't the first wife also named Rachel?
Yes. Yes, she was.
All right, I kind of like it when they make up names because it's easier to tell people apart.
Yeah, it is.
So I see the trend has died off.
But anyway, so Andrew Johnson's niece married her first cousin, his nephew. Anyway, she became the first wife. The main thing about her was she made this petticoat scandal. The petticoat scandal, which wrecked Andrew Jackson's presidency. She made it a lot worse, basically. So, I think it means it's time to open up the cabinet.
I think so too.
Creak. Time to open up the cabinet. The petticoat affair. So, the petticoat affair, it was this big scandal in the cabinet. And what it was the Secretary of War, John Eaton, and his wife, they just got married, right? And the word around town was that they met while she was already married. And so it was part of an extramarital affair, was how they got hooked up.
Oh, like Amber and Theodosia.
Yeah, exactly. Scandalous.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So all of the wives of all of the cabinet members started ostracizing them and like not inviting them to parties. And Emily Donaldson did not invite her to the parties. And as a result, the cabinet all left.
Except for... No.
They all left because of the scandal. They all were like, I quit. He had the first vice president to quit. John C. Calhoun. John C. Calhoun, he quit. And it's responsible for Calhoun's transformation from a national political figure with presidential aspirations into a sectional leader of the southern states. Yeah. Not good. Really turned him around.
Everyone left the cabinet except for a gentleman named William T. Berry. Now, we've talked about some of the females in Jackson's life. Now let's talk about some of the male. I'm talking about the post office.
Post office.
William T. Berry was the postmaster general, and that's all I have for that. Moving back to you, James.
Moving back to Second Wives Club.
I thought this was clever.
So President Jackson, he was on the side of like forgiving, or like being like, oh, it doesn't matter if they met through extramarital affairs. Like you shouldn't be mean to people, right? This negative campaigning is bad. And the reason he thought that is because his first wife, Rachel, who died, she died supposedly because of all of the negative campaign ads smearing his and her relationship for him having married her as a divorced lady. Because John Quincy Adams, is that right?
Yes.
John Quincy Adams, who we mentioned in many podcasts.
Oh.
He's one of the legends. He was his political rival. He was his, should we open up?
Mr. Congeniality. Well, that didn't come out.
Mr. Congeniality?
Mr. Congeniality, sure.
John Quincy Adams attempted to muckrake and found out that they weren't officially divorced. Rachel wasn't officially divorced when she married Andrew Jackson, and the scandal of having this news up in politics, she died.
Same thing happened to me once.
Really?
I died.
You died?
Yeah.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, it hasn't happened yet. It'll happen to me eventually.
that is true.
Maybe.
I don't know. Maybe, and if I do die, maybe I'll come back as a ghost.
Or a floating kidney.
No such things.
No such thing as ghosts.
Time to return to First Wives Club.
First Wives Club.
Back where we started First Wives Club.
First Wives Club.
Rachel Jackson. So we talked about her marriage to Andrew Jackson and then how she wasn't divorced when they got married. That wasn't the only problem with that marriage. Apparently, it was revealed that they were married in the then Spanish-controlled Natchez, Mississippi, and the Jacksons were Protestants. Only Catholic marriages were recognized as legal unions in that county. in that territory. So they had to get everything annulled, and then they got remarried in 1794.
It seems to me like the main facet and like the most interesting thing about Andrew Jackson is all this like scandal surrounding marriages.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is that all? Is that all he has going for him?
Oh, he
is
has
he
a few.
living like the life of a Lifetime original movie?
Pretty much. He did have a few other things going for him. He was the first president to kill someone in a duel.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. That's pretty impressive.
That is pretty impressive.
yeah. I
Was
mean,
it? I mean, it wasn't like a good thing.
especially
No,
considering,
no.
It didn't
Really?
do him well for his political career.
especially considering the only thing he used to kill the man with was his like bare hands and 3/4 of an apple.
And
Oh.
also a pistol.
Tell the story, Doug. It's very good.
Ah,
story.
tell the story. Well, it has to do with the
Have you heard this story?
the smear campaign.
Mm-mm,
Okay. Well, there was a gentleman by the name of, I call him gentleman. Yeah, all right. Sorry.
Charles Dickerson.
Charles Dickinson.
Oh.
Not Dickerson.
Like Charles Dickens.
But
his son.
Yeah.
His son.
Yeah. Charles Dickinson. Wouldn't that just be Charles Charleston then? Because
Charles
if it was
Dickinson's
Charles
son.
Dickinson's son, it would be Charles Charleston.
He changed his name because
Changed
Charles
his-
Charleston was too
Too much. Dick Charleston. So,
I'm bleeping that.
he was
We bleeped all the dicks for Richard Nixon.
yes, we did.
Okay.
Which we may or may not have published, depending on when these broadcast. No, but Dickinson ended up slandering his wife. Well, I guess it's technically libel, isn't it? Because it was in
It was
printing.
a printed handbill.
Yeah, so it's a libel. And so Jackson challenged Dickinson to a duel.
I saw that. I'm just kidding.
All right, man. Dickinson was considered an expert shot, so Jackson decided that he would just let Dickinson shoot first and hope that his speed would make the shot not fatal, and it worked.
That's a ballsy move.
That's a ball. You gotta bleep that.
Here's where the apple comes in.
Yeah.
So
So-
it hit the apple.
Actually, no.
That's
It
what he
hit,
forced him.
the pistol shot hit Jackson in the chest, and it was so close to his heart that they couldn't remove it. But Jackson was still alive, and the rules of dueling state that once one person is fired, the other person has to stay still until the second party has returned fire. So Jackson just coolly and calmly aimed his gun, shot, and killed Dickinson
With a bullet in his heart.
with a bullet right next to his heart.
Do you think that would help? Like, I was thinking about, the biathlon, when they do the skiing and the shooting. And, the hard part is, regulating your heartbeat when you, calm down to do the shooting.
Oh, there has to have
Do you think being
so
shot
much,
in the heart?
There has to have been so much adrenaline rushing through him. Or maybe he was just so close to death that he was like, I'm taking you with me.
Yeah. He had the Grim Reaper on his side.
Wow.
That's pretty legendary.
This is actually the that Bon Jovi song was actually based off of this.
Living on a prayer?
Yeah.
Halfway there.
Living on a prayer.
I constantly get Bon Jovi confused with Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. So when Tom Petty died, I was like, this music sucks. Living on a prayer, who cares? And then I realized, wow, maybe I was wrong, but maybe I just don't give a shit about Tom Petty.
Wow.
Tom Petty, my favorite president.
Yeah.
He followed Andrew Jackson.
That's the
did.
He was
49th
a,
episode.
On Twitter.
yeah, he was a shadow president.
I'm going to make that on Twitter part a little extra loud so everyone hears it. He was the first president to be targeted by an assassin.
Yep.
Was it?
Okay, now here's an interesting one. He was the first president to be older than his predecessor. So every president before him had been increasingly younger. And then he was like, back to the old school.
Huh.
Yeah.
Tell me about this assassination attempt.
Oh, it happened.
I don't know anything.
It happened
about
twice.
Was it the same guy?
No, the first time it was this.
German guy, I believe.
What? No.
Dutch?
No.
If
Just
it was a German, we could have listened to James Cox, and we wouldn't have had this problem.
who?
What's his name? The guy who ran against WGH?
Man, you know your presidents.
Yes, you do. Too bad we're not talking about him, and we won't be talking to him about him for at least another 18 episodes.
You gotta jump
But that's
around
pretty
to get the
pretty
jokes
impressive.
in this podcast.
It's pretty impressive that you know the vice president of Warren G. Harding. I gotta admit, that's very impressive to me.
You gotta jump around to get the jokes.
He lost by a big landslide, I heard.
Yeah, me too.
So there were actually 2 assassination attempts. The first one was he dismissed a member of the Navy for embezzlement, and the guy followed him from town to town, and finally he hit Andrew Jackson, and then Andrew Jackson, and then he ended
I don't know
up
if
getting,
that really counts as a whole
Yeah.
assassination. I mean, the stalking is a little bit troublesome, but
he ended up the party that Jackson was with, including Washington Irving, chased down this guy and caught him, and then Jackson.
was Washington Irving the one who wrote Rip Van Winkle?
Yeah, Rip Van Winkle, Sleepy Hollow.
Sleepy Hollow.
Yeah, chased
Yep.
down the guy that smacked Andrew Jackson.
That was his attempt. Was a smack?
I call it a smack. It just says struck. But that's not the interesting one. The interesting one is when Richard Lawrence, an unemployed house painter from England, aimed a pistol at Jackson and it misfired. And then Lawrence drew a second pistol, aimed it at Jackson, and it misfired. Jackson's then chased down Lawrence with a cane and started hitting him.
That's pretty impressive. I would have thought he might have a third one.
That's like old school
Not enough
double
hands.
tap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Lawrence was eventually restrained and disarmed by none other than Davy Crockett.
Yeah.
Did he tie the hat around his wrists behind him?
That's how
King
Raccoon
of the
did it.
Wild Frontier.
I don't think he actually wore that hat. I think he wore it once. This isn't a Davy Crockett podcast. This is an Andrew Jackson podcast.
No, it was-
Very true, very true.
Davy Crockett was actually when we do our Presidents of Texas podcast, which is not for later.
What do we got on the docket next, Dougie?
Oh, my favorite section.
Oh, no, I mean, we're still in presidential first.
Are we?
He was the first president to be elected by white men of all classes after laws barring non-landowners from voting were repealed.
Huh.
He was the first president to have a vice president resign. We did mention that. I'll admit. He was the first president to... Should we open up constitutional conveyance?
Do we have to?
Constitutional conveyance.
Toot toot. He was the first president to ride on a train. Remember that?
I was there. I remember
Yep.
I looked over in the train car. The woman was coming by asking if I wanted any of the packaged peanuts. And I'm more of a cashew guy, so I said no. But I think that gentleman over there is looking a little bit hungry. And I turn over, and there's Andrew Jackson.
Yeah. And he's like, give me some of that hickory smoked jerky.
And they were all out. And all they had was the teriyaki flavor.
Yeah, and they only had like new jerky.
Oh God, no.
It was terrible.
It was like too fresh. He likes it
Yeah, he likes a little bit more raw.
a little jaw.
Gets his heart pounding.
Yeah.
Gets him feel a bullet. Anyway, that's the time I met Andrew Jackson on a train.
That's fascinating.
That is fascinating. Should we go into presidential nicknames?
Presidential nicknames.
I think we should. Now I'm going to recommend Old Hickory.
I like Andy.
You know, that's a pretty good name.
Thank you.
You know, that's actually one of the better nicknames I've ever heard.
Oh,
Old Hickory.
Old Hickory.
I like it because it's distinguished. It's got a little bit of flavor.
Yep.
Smoky, and I feel like no one else could be described as Old Hickory.
Well,
Not quite like Andrew
I actually
Jackson.
like it because I think it applies to so many characters. Like, I almost can think of, you know, now that I'm thinking about it, I can't think of a single president who couldn't personify the nickname Old Hickory.
Except for all of them besides Andrew Jackson.
I like Andy.
Andy?
Andy?
Andy Jackson.
I like Andy.
Yeah, or Drew Jackson.
Drew
We
Jackson.
can call him AJ.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I like Drew Jackson.
Drew Jackson.
That just makes him sound
Oh,
like
Drew
a
Jackson.
makes him sound like a Disney Channel star.
The real Drew Jackson.
Like he's president by day, but at night he's got like a band and like he has to keep his secret.
Yeah, or he's like someone like switched bodies with the president.
Oh yeah,
type character.
And so it's just Andrew Jackson like rocking out at a concert, and then like.
But then, like
a teenage boy who's like trying to sign bills into law and all that stuff.
15-year-old who's marching thousands onto the Trail of Tears.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they got morbid.
King Andrew.
King Andrew. Actually was one of his nicknames.
Oh.
Apparently for his excessive use of the veto.
Yeah, he was... In researching presidential firsts, a lot of presidents were the first president to use the amount of vetoes they did.
Yeah.
They kept doing it more and more. I didn't phrase that very well.
Of course, the veto is the 23rd best toe.
Wow.
Of course, the veto is the 23rd best toe.
Time for...
That silence was actually me doing the math in my head.
What section should we do next?
Oh, I think up next on the docket, as always, my favorite section, presidential pets.
Presidential pets. Everybody's got them.
Everybody's got
What are
them.
they up to?
Presidential pets.
Alright, I feel like he had a dog named Margarine.
No, close. He had a parrot named Polly.
Oh,
Sorry.
I was going to have him guess.
No. What kind of parrot did he have?
He had a parrot.
What was the parrot's name?
If you were to guess, like, a name for a parrot.
I mean,
I'll give you a hint. Maybe they want a cracker.
Bra?
you just said Polly.
No, we didn't. That was edited out.
Oh my god. How did I hear it if it was edited out?
The ghost of Warren G. Harding's kidney. Who we may or may not have spoken about depending on when these broadcasts.
You should listen to that episode to get all the jokes of this episode.
Just
Anyway,
wait 17 more weeks.
just come back to Andrew Jackson. I feel like Andrew Jackson would have a fish. He would have an exotic fish, you know?
He did have a fighting cock.
James Cock?
It didn't have a name. He had many horses, too.
Yep.
Not the very good names, though.
No.
One of them had a pretty good name.
Bolivia.
Truxton.
Truxton. Sam Patch and Truxton.
And Lady Nashville.
And then Emily, which is just... No, but I want to talk about Polly the parrot. Polly,
let's
the
hear about
African gray parrot, learned how to swear.
We can't talk about that on this
No,
podcast.
we can't.
We
but-
talk about it. We just can't say the
Right.
eyeball.
It's actually called mention clause word, I believe. It doesn't count as swearing. Learn your taxonomy of swearing. Anyways, Polly the African gray parrot learned to swear and was kicked out of Jackson's funeral for excessive profanity.
That's how I want to go.
You want to get kicked out of a funeral for excessive profanity?
As a parrot,
Yeah, like when I get reincarnated.
To be a parrot? That'd be pretty cool.
not as a bean.
It doesn't have to be a bean.
It could be the kidney of a parrot.
Do
Yeah.
birds have kidneys?
No.
No. Now it's time for Third Wives Club.
My third favorite section.
Beginning in 1834, Sarah York Jackson, President Jackson's daughter-in-law, served as the White House hostess. This is because we talked about Emily Donaldson. She was kind of being mean to the Secretary of War's wife. So then Johnson's like, yeah, maybe you shouldn't be the First Lady anymore. Bring in my Third Wives Club, Sarah York Jackson. A cohort of scholars believed that the cause of her... What? Oh, some people think that the reason that Emily Donaldson left was because of the controversy, but some people think it was because of tuberculosis.
Because of her beard.
Oh my
She had a
god.
beard.
Yeah, she had that great beard.
She was known for having a beard, so she did end up dying of tuberculosis, which is why Sarah York Jackson became the Third Wives Club. Time for...
Give me an S.
Give me an L.
Give me an O.
Give me a
G. Give me an A. Give me an N. Presidential slogans. What does that spell?
What does that spell?
Yeah.
Slogan.
Campaign slogan.
Yeah, all right. Do you remember do you remember President Jackson's campaign slogan?
This meat's not burnt enough. Send it back.
Sorry, close, but slogans actually started in 1840.
Sorry about that.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. I'd overheard him say that one.
No.
No, it was a good guess.
It was on that train
Catchy.
ride. It was in the dining car. That man had terrible taste. He liked his steaks incredibly burnt. When we all know that medium rare is the best. Yeah,
medium rare.
medium rare. And that man
Blue.
kept sending it back.
No,
He sent it back to the kitchen not once, not twice, but 3 times. One for each of his wives.
Yeah, and
Ridiculous.
one for each of the stages between medium rare and well done.
Yeah, and by the time he got it back, it was just this burnt little husk, and he was just looking.
He owed.
Yeah, he was content to eat that.
All right.
That was the second time I met Andrew Jackson.
You're well traveled, well versed.
The first time I met Andrew Jackson was in the back of a Kohl's. We were fighting over the same pair of jeans. we had the same height.
Oh,
the same waist size.
Yes. Well,
That actually brings us
that
to...
actually brings us to our next section.
Heights of power.
Heights of Power.
Heights of Power.
Heights of power.
How tall was Andrew Jackson, if you were to guess? Now, I know you don't know a lot about him. You kind of sized him up at the car.
Yeah.
I saw him over the car, and we
And
were
at the
fighting with the
Kohl's.
same pants. I would say 5'11" and 2 quarters.
That's really close.
Really close. Whatever 1 inch minus 2 quarters is away.
5'10"?
Nope, he was exactly 6 foot tall.
6 feet tall. Andrew
Oh my
Jackson was
God.
6 feet tall.
6 foot tall.
Just like
WGH.
George Washington. George W.G.H. George Herbert Washington.
George Herbert Walker Washington.
George Ganymede Washington.
Time for... Is it our last section,
I
Doug?
think so.
Presidential birthdays.
Yup.
Yeah, let's do birthdays.
Now this is the part of the show which I'm sure you know, being such an avid listener. Do you remember any people that have the same birthday as Andrew Jackson?
March 15th.
March 15th. The Ides of March. Yeah.
I'll give you a hint. Chief Justice
Earl Warren.
of the Warren Court.
Yep.
Also, is it Demosthenes?
Demosthenes. One of the greatest Greek orators. Purportedly, though.
Purportedly.
That's not ironclad.
Orson Welles.
Orson Welles.
Was born on March 15th. Doug, did you... Now, is this true? You used to have a ventriloquism instructor.
Yeah, Ron.
Ron? Yeah. He was your ventriloquism instructor?
He died. There was a picket line, and he tried to cross it, and that was...
Oh.
Yeah.
The picket line
hard
was on
times.
the border of South Carolina and North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
And he was...
And he wasn't sure about it. He was on the fence. He was on the picket fence, but he tried to cross it, and so they killed him.
Yeah, it was... And
Tough way to go.
all the while, there was a baby being born, and they couldn't decide which side.
Not just a baby, a beanie baby named Lips the Fish.
See,
Born on March
that's the
15th.
That's the fish. That's the fish that Andrew Jackson would own. If he
Yeah,
had a
Lips the
fish.
Fish.
Yeah, you're right.
Wrap it up with my favorite section.
Your favorite section.
Presidential Ghosts.
Presidential ghosts. That's I like that one the most.
So what do you think? Stefan,
The ghost of Andrew
did Andrew Jackson become a ghost?
Gamameel Jackson.
Andrew Chamomile Jackson lives as a ghost. Or I guess he technically does not live as a ghost. He haunts as a ghost in every $20 bill that has become crumpled and stuck in a pair of jeans.
Close.
Close.
Unfortunately, there are no
There's
such thing as
thing
ghosts.
ghosts. Sorry about that.
That
Thank you
felt
very
good.
much. Good podcast. Good podcast.
Something.
Good podcast.
I like the Lincoln one a lot. That one was fun.
How long was that? That was...
Presidents, you know.